Well, welcome out there to my program once again. Always a pleasure to be here. We're going to talk about home construction and the various techniques and why certain types of home construction might be better than others depending on your situation. I've been recently to a modular home factory in New Hampshire, and I'm going to tell you, it was a marvelous, marvelous experience. Huge factory where they build houses. A lot of people over the years have felt that maybe modular home construction doesn't meet the criteria, the standards of a regular house built on site, what they call a stick constructed house. But I have someone who's in the business of modular home construction. He's been in the business of real estate and construction for many, many years. And we're going to get a current update on what's going on in the modular home construction world. Paul Bernard. Welcome, Paul.
Richard, it's a pleasure to be on your program this evening.
Wow.
And I was glad that you visited the factory up in Claremont, New Hampshire.
Claremont.
The Claremont, New Hampshire. I think you enjoyed yourself tremendously that day.
Yeah, you drove me up there. And
I drove you back, and you came back all in one piece.
So far.
It was a good ride.
It was.
Yes.
Your truck outperformed, I think, what you might have imagined it was going to do that day.
Well, except for the gas. It didn't perform too well with the gas. But that's beside the point.
Well, the oil company's going to make some money.
They're going to make some money.
Your real estate tycoons, you know.
Oh, yes. That's how they work, and, you know, it's very good.
Look, modular home construction. What is it? What is the general concept of a modular home to begin with?
Well, I guess the most important thing to realize in modular construction is that first, a stick-built home, which is a very good home, and we've got millions of them in the country, and still quite a few still being built. The modular industry, of course, is starting to really come ahead, and the reason why is because they can build them so energy efficient. And everybody today is very conscious of energy.
Okay, why is it that a modular home can be built better, energy efficiently,
yes,
than a stick?
Yes, and the main reason for that is a stick home is built from the outside inside. So when we're building a stick home, which we did in the past, we had to first of all get the framing up and then put the outside to come into the inside, so we had to have it all covered and everything.
Right.
Now, when you came to the factory, you notice that the modular homes are built from the inside out. All right? So that way there we can insulate them a lot better. So you have the sheetrock up, it's in a factory, a nice big factory.
Nice and climate control.
Climate control.
No rain, no snow,
Yeah, no snow,
wind,
no, not like this
cold.
winter. Can you imagine building a stick-built home this winter?
People,
and starting in December?
They didn't.
And I think Boston, finally, the snow has melted in Boston this week.
Yeah, they said by July it would be all gone.
Oh, gone. And it has. I think the news
That's
came
one
out.
prediction of the weatherman.
Yeah,
It came true.
Yeah, it did come true. So, but that is the main difference between a stick-built home. Not that both homes are very good, but energy efficient is what people are looking for today, especially with the cost of gas, electric, and oil. Okay, is one better than the other? We are building a home at the factory. We've built 2 or 3 of them that can be heated with 2 light bulbs. A complete
2 light
home.
bulbs.
Yes, but of course they're over-insulated. The walls are very thick. They have special kind of foam insulation besides the cellulose insulation.
You know, cellulose insulation. That let's mention that a little.
All right.
Because
that was impressive for you at the factory, wasn't it?
well, it was, and I think it impressed most people who were there.
That's
who
true, it
watched
did.
the
It
presentation by that young man.
Yes.
He was very enthusiastic
Yes,
about
he was.
cellulose.
Yes.
As people out there probably know, cellulose is actually paper. Cellulose insulation was made of scrap paper ground up. And what I found interesting is that the cellulose, and the question I asked, well, if a fire starts, isn't that a big hazard? And he showed me in a hurry.
That it wasn't a big hazard.
And what did he do?
He put, well, the paper is mixed with some kind of a resin, I guess it was.
Retardant.
Retardant type of a resin. And he showed you that he had the cellulose there, he lit a torch to it, and it did not catch on fire. Do you recall that?
And what did he do? He melted a penny.
Oh, well, yeah, he melted the
in
penny.
his hand.
Yes.
He had it in his hand.
Yeah.
A handful of cellulose with
Yeah.
a penny in the middle of the
Yeah,
cellulose,
yeah.
and he took the torch
Yes.
and he melted the penny.
And he didn't burn his hand because he
No.
had the cellulose there. So it is
So-
very good fire retardant. Very, very good.
And the so-called R factor, the heat resistance.
Well, the R factor would be for how energy efficient it is.
And it was pretty efficient.
Yes, the R factor, I believe, was R30. I'm not positive. I don't recall it right to the exact, but I believe it was R30.
And they were building the houses with 2x6s.
All 2x6 construction. That's correct. Yes. Yes.
That's a
Yes.
wall.
Yeah, but most, most stick-built homes today are 2x6 construction.
So they're
also.
going that way with the
They are going that way also.
2x4s.
Yeah, but see, they cannot put the cellulose into the stick-built home as well as we can put it into the modular type of building. Because don't forget, the stick-built is built from the outside in, we're building from the inside out. So there's a big difference between the two ways that we can, everything with the modular is sealed and resealed and caulked, and it's just energy efficient. Matter of fact, most modular homes, you have to get to have the good air come in from the outside. I'm trying to think of what you call that now. We saw one at the factory, if you recall.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what they called it. Air circulator or something, so the good air can be brought in. And, I mean, it's not an expensive thing, but they have it piped so the good air will come in and the bad air, not the bad air, but the other, the warm air will
Well,
leave.
they're built very tight.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's always
Yes,
a
yes.
concern that
Yes.
you're not getting the fresh air in the house, not like the old houses where the wind blows and the windows will rattle. You know you're getting some fresh air
And the
coming.
curtains would move. No, that's true. That's very, very true.
Nowadays, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Now, people will probably, wonder about the house. So the house is built, in a factory, and everything is controlled. But then it's put on flatbed trucks. And
Yes.
it gets bounced along the highway. What is?
Why would you say bounce along our highways in the United States? How can that be? We have perfect highways. You mean you hit potholes once in a while?
Those are reverse road bumps.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, it is tested for a hurricane. The truck drivers drive at 65, 70 miles an hour. Whatever the speed limit allows them, they are coming down the highway
So
that way.
why doesn't? How come the house doesn't just kind of like rattle?
Because
Crack,
there is a
fall
few,
apart?
sometimes when a modular comes in, there are a few cracks. There's nothing can be
We're
done
talking
about
about the
that.
sheetrock.
The sheetrock, there are a few cracks, which is no problem. We guarantee them, we stand behind them, and we fix the cracks up. That's not a problem. But the main reason why there is seldom any cracks is because the house is screwed, glued, and so it is well put together, all right? That is the main reason, all right? And each block is individually, precisely constructed in such a way that there's no flexibility to it.
Now, all these homes have to be inspected. The building inspector is involved with the project.
Yes, yes,
And all these houses have to meet code.
yes.
Now, let me ask this question in regards to square footage of a house. If a two-family or a two-storied structure,
Yeah.
is it double the cost than a single-family
Well,
structure?
that's a very, very good question. In other words, we're asked that question all the time, and what the question is that you're asking is, how much is it a square foot compared I'll even carry it further, compared to a stick-built home. Is that more or less the question you're trying to lead to?
Well, yeah, is there any, I guess,
Well, the savings, I usually tell this
in other words, if the more the square footage, the less per cost?
Yes.
Per square foot?
Yes,
All
yes.
right, is that the answer?
That is, yeah, one of the answers. In other words, for an example, if we have a Cape-style home that has been built and it's modular, and the upstairs is unfinished, okay? And we've got it, let's say, a 24 by 32 Cape home, all right? And it's got downstairs a living room, dining room, kitchen, and a bedroom. And it's got provision for 2 bedrooms and a bath upstairs, and it has a bath downstairs, but it's not done upstairs, okay? The house is delivered, the set crew sets it all up. And that came to, let's say, 100, just an example, 100, when we use round figures, $150 a square foot. Then the person calls and says, Paul, I'd like to have my second floor finished. It was designed for 2 bedrooms upstairs and everything else. I say, yes, and it's gonna cost you X amount of dollars to do that. Now we go over there and do that. Now the square footage originally for the house was $150. Now it's down to $135 for the square footage because we gain more square footage.
I see.
But he had the walls already there and the roof already there.
So,
So now it goes down. Then he calls up and says, I want to put a family room in my basement. Remember you told me how that lot went down and I got to
Well, no,
walk out?
now, are we talking,
You're talking about square footage, the
okay,
cost
but,
per square foot.
right,
So in
but-
other words, there's no way you can actually say, this is how much it is per
yeah,
square foot.
let's get beyond that now. These changes, are these done in a plan before construction begins? Or let's say the construction process has already begun in Claremont, New Hampshire, at the factory. And the home buyer says, Paul, I'd like to add something. Is that a major problem?
No, no.
Okay,
no,
explain
no,
it then.
No. First of all, we do not start building the house until we've gone through the plans with the client probably 3, 4, 5 times. I've just got one that's going to Coventry. I don't want to mention the name of the individual where it's going, because he probably could be watching this program. But he's a wonderful person, and his wife is great. We've already gone through at least 10 plans so far. It's all signed off now, he's all set. He's changed everything that he wanted to change, and it's great.
Okay, once
so-
you get to that stage, do you require a deposit?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Can you give the audience an idea of,
All right, my company,
is a percentage of the cost of the,
now, my company works this way here. I am Bernard Modular Homes, and I work with New England Homes. I get a deposit of $5,000 for the plans, the prints, and everything else, okay? That's the deposit they put down. After we've got everything pretty well started, and they know, yes, they want to do it. I do get the financing for them ahead of time, how they're going to finance it, what they're going to finance, and how
So
they
you
want to do it.
take care of all that?
I take care of all that. I make sure about all the permits, they're going to be in place, everything's going to be done.
Building inspector,
Yeah. My
plumbing?
real specialty, out of 5 of them that I'm going to be doing coming up soon, out of those 5, I have 4 of them that I'm knocking down their present home.
okay, so in other words, you don't need a vacant piece of land?
No, no.
Get that old
no,
farmhouse,
No. So if
ground?
some of you people are looking for a house, or looking for a piece of land, sometimes it's nice to ride through the neighborhood and have a look and see, there may be a house there that's a little lopsided.
And that's
All
the
right?
one.
And that might be a good deal, because we can take it away and put a nice house.
How
And
about
sometimes that's an
sometimes-
excellent, excellent deal.
How about sometimes the towns, the cities, they've taken properties for tax titles?
Oh, that's excellent too, yes, yes.
An opportunity to
Opportunity, yes,
work along with the city or town and
yes.
take that blighted house out of the neighborhood?
Right.
Neighbors would be happy about that.
They would, yes.
So
And
you're
right
doing
now, there's an
community
awful lot
service.
of those around,
You're doing a community of service
Yes.
in a sense, right?
in a way.
Now, tell us about what I found to be interesting is that you got the roof. And when you see these modulars come down the highway on the flatbeds, of course, you only see half, but you never see a roof. Where's the roof?
Well, the roof is there. The roof is there, Most of the time, it's covered up with the plastic, all right?
These are all covered, yeah.
Yeah, when they're coming down the highway. Once they strip the house, and that's the first thing that they do after they get ready to set the house up, the crane is on site, and they're getting prepared. They strip everything off, and then the crane picks up the first floor. Let's see, say it's a colonial.
Yeah.
Picks up the first floor, puts the 2 boxes there. They get those perfect on the foundation, okay? Now it's time to bring up the other 2 boxes. They bring up the other 2 boxes, and bring 1 box up, and the roof comes up.
How does that happen?
And it's just the crane pings it right up, and it's hinged. It's like an elbow. It's like this here.
That's what
just like this.
Yeah.
See it? Comes right up.
I think that was a surprising part.
For you.
Well, and others.
And others, yeah, probably.
The roof
See, I've
is
seen it
hinged.
so
The
many
roof is
times.
there.
The roof is there.
It's laid flat, but
Yeah, it's there.
eventually
Oh, yeah.
it's raised up because it's on hinges.
Yes, yeah.
And the 2 pieces, you know,
Just come right up. Yeah.
and put together.
Yeah. See, I don't pay someone like yourself probably really, wow, that's really interesting.
Well, it is, yeah.
And it is. But I've seen so much of it that, you know,
Well, let me ask
I'm
you.
used to it.
When they're delivered, do the roofs have shingles?
Oh, yes.
Roof shingles
Yes,
on
yes,
already?
yes.
So
There's some patchwork that
they're
has to be
fairly
done.
weatherized.
Oh, God, yes.
Like,
well,
to a
before,
great
when the
extent.
set crew leaves, usually we start the set of the house around, let's say, 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, they start bringing the first box in, or if the first box is there, the crane is set up and starts picking it up and putting it on the foundation. They usually will be done by 3:30, 4 o'clock.
You know, I believe you because one
Oh,
time
I know it.
I left my house to go to the Cape, and when I came back, next door,
Well, did you have a few shots when you were down the Cape?
no, I didn't take my camera.
Oh, you didn't take your camera.
When I came back, the modular home next door was already up.
But it was the same day, right?
Same day.
You sure it was the same day now?
It was. I
All
left
right.
in the morning, it wasn't there. But like you said, in one day, it's
One
there.
day it's there, yeah.
Yeah, single family.
Now, one thing people should realize though, because once a client says, well, if it's all set up that day, when do I get the keys? The next day I can bring my furniture in?
No,
I
no,
says,
it took a few weeks after.
Wait a minute now. I says, the house is 85% done at the factory. There's another 15% that has to be done on site, such as, all right, putting the doors up, all right, taking care of any sheetrock that's been damaged. The plumbing has to be hooked up. The electrical has to be hooked up. If they got HVAC has to be put in.
Get the
okay?
water pipes in.
All that's in.
No,
To hook up, they have to hook them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have to, we do all of this, but they also have to put the decks up, the porches up, all right? Sometimes the porches come, all right, panelized from the factory, which is a wonderful thing. It's
Yeah.
very easy. It's all panelized, we just put it together like a puzzle. Boom.
Let me ask you this question. People out there probably are saying, well, this is really nice, but does a potential buyer ever get to the factory?
Oh, one of my prerequisites, I guess that's a good word to use, right?
Yeah,
Prerequisites is if someone would be calling me up and saying, I heard about you, we want to knock down our house. It's been in the family since 1932, and this has happened many times.
Yeah.
And it's time, it doesn't even have a full basement. It's on a slab, or it's on a crawl space, or it's on granite blocks, or whatever it's on. And so I get the appointment set up with them, and I go over and see them, and we talk about it and everything else. And then after that is when we start the whole process. All right, we get the financing. Okay, what was your question again now?
well, does the prospective buyer have an opportunity to actually go to the
Okay,
factory?
that's it. My prerequisite is,
I mean,
all right,
after
now
you use that word, prerequisite.
Yeah, I got carried away with it.
You lapsed into a
I
little,
got carried away with that word. All right, one of my, I'm going to use the same word, but anyway, one of my prerequisites is that they have to go to the factory.
all right, so you
Okay.
want that of your,
And I will meet them there. They will have a tour of the factory by one of our engineers. All their questions will be answered. But see, at the factory, as you noticed when you came up for that day,
Yeah.
everything is there that they can pick out. The cabinets are all
Oh,
there.
the displays.
The bathrooms, the
Yeah.
toilets are there. It's a beautiful display room.
I
All
mean,
right, and they can pick anything.
it's a
The
huge
type of
factory.
insulation that they want,
Huge
everything.
factory.
Yes, yes, yes.
And that was a part of a buyer's opportunity to ask as many questions
Oh,
as
yeah,
they want
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
Take pictures and
Yep.
look at
Yeah,
the
and
various-
we do have different times during the month that we do have factory tours also, with the 2 seminars. And that's what you came up as, was a factory tour, and there was 2 seminars, if you recall.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
recall.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad. I thought you probably went to
It
the
wasn't
Cape and
that
came
long.
back and it was all done.
No, it wasn't that long ago. I do recall.
Good.
One was on the construction.
One was on the cellulose.
Oh, yeah.
That was the one that fascinated you the most.
Well, you know, people, insulation is like,
It's important.
it's something that I don't think, you know, a home buyer puts a lot of thought into.
Right.
You know, as a house is going to be insulated. They're concerned with the kitchen.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
you know, husband and wife, they,
Yeah.
nowadays seems
Yeah.
like the kitchen is almost as big as a bedroom.
Well,
And bathrooms, you know, are fairly large, and
Yeah.
all the accessories.
yeah,
It's not like the old days where you had a pantry and,
yeah.
you know,
No,
and that was
no,
pretty
it's
much
not.
it.
Yes, it's
So when it comes to insulation, it's almost, you know, a thought that comes later if it ever
Right,
comes.
right.
But that person did give a very good
Yes, demonstration.
presentation.
Yes, he
And
did.
tell us about the different types of insulation.
Well, you have the regular insulation, which is the fiberglass insulation.
The bat,
That, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the cellulose insulation. Those are really the 2 different types of insulation.
have the
Then you
foam.
have the foam,
Yeah,
yes.
they blow that
blow the
stuff
foam in, yes. That is more expensive, but I have not done a home where it was all blown in with foam yet. I'll be honest with you, Frank,
Yeah.
with you. But they tell me, and I guess some of the other builders have had a few people that wanted to do that way, and they are very, very efficient, very efficient.
with the foam.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that foam insulation, and you can buy little cans, like, you know, for
Yes,
sealing.
yes, yes, yeah.
In the basement,
yes.
you see a lot of
If
that.
you notice, all
going
the
on.
electrical plugs, don't forget, we're building from the inside out. All the electrical plugs were all foamed up all around. Did you notice that there was foam all in the cracks everywhere?
Yeah, very,
Before they even put the cellulose up.
yeah, very, very
yeah,
tight.
Yeah.
Now, they have, apparently, like, when they put the sheetrock up, don't they have, like, splines, pieces of reinforcing?
Yes, yes. But the main reason for that is what you mentioned earlier.
Over the road?
Over the road. That's why that's put there. All right,
Okay,
that
so-
protects it from shaking and everything.
And
Yes,
that
yes.
comes off. You take,
No, that stays there forever.
Okay.
That's built from the inside out. That was the sheetrock, and that was right up against their board.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
stays there. and
Oh, that's there forever. That
that-
keeps it strong.
Oh.
So when the hurricane comes, it's still strong.
Yeah, what other features that you might say unique to modular home construction?
Well, one of the biggest things is that while we're preparing the land, I want to say preparing the land, that means knocking down the house. If this one that has to be knocked down, knocking down the house, getting the engineer to put where the septic system's going to be, if you need a well, the foundation, everything. We get all that done, all right? And then I call up New England Homes and says, I will be ready in about 3 weeks. Put me online, all right? That means put me in a slot to build the house that these people have, Mr. Urban has selected. So,
Okay,
Okay.
and from that telephone call
Yep.
until actual delivery,
yeah,
roughly,
4 to 5 weeks,
that's incredible.
all right?
I mean, a stick-built home,
Oh, yeah, yeah. But see, now everything is done. So when the house comes, all we do is put the crane and we set it all up.
and they have,
So-
the factory, if I'm correct, has a lot of pre-cut parts.
Oh, yeah, yes, yes.
other words,
The
it's stacked.
dormers, the dormers that you see, those are done, those are,
But all the lumber is there in the
Yes.
factory.
Yes.
It's all
kiln dried.
film dried,
Yeah.
it's pre-cut.
Yeah,
So they just go over to a stack and take out what they want.
What
It's
they
not
need,
like
yeah.
constructing on site. because you
Well,
can't put
that's-
everything on site.
That's one of the big things, Mr. Urban, Richard, that when you're on site doing the job, there's a lot of waste, because you need a 2 by 6, 8 feet, and you got a 10-foot, you cut the 2 feet off. So now you just cut them all up. It takes too long to go and change it or get it or bring it back or anything. It's expensive. So you got a lot of waste.
Yeah, I noticed in the factory you have a lot of pre-cut, pre-stacked material.
Yes,
So I guess
yes.
and 80 workers. They said 80, over 80 workers.
Yes.
Now that's quite an operation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's a big operation.
Yeah, a lot of pre-stacked.
Because you can do anything modular today. They're building prisons modular. They're not the ones that they get out of under the tunnels or anything.
Well, if you have a tunnel, that's
That's a different story.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're building prisons.
with
they're
a
bringing-
motorcycle too.
Yeah, with a
I mean, you
motorcycle.
cannot. Who wants to walk a whole mile
Really?
to
Come
escape?
on. Right. I mean, you got to have a motorcycle. But,
Oh.
but anyway, so that's what makes it, so efficient.
Well, Paul, you've got some.
Well, these are the different, they can get, anyone who's listening can receive from New England Homes
Okay, you got a colonial.
a whole package like this.
In other words, you actually distribute this. If someone's
Yes.
interested,
Yep, they just call.
you get all these.
Yep, just give me a
brochures.
call, Paul Bernard, and I'll have the factory send over a whole package with all of our different homes and everything. And be more than happy to. That's what we want to do,
And you're in Newport on Thames Street,
Newport, Rhode Island, Thames Street.
so someone could stop by.
Oh, God, yes,
Yeah.
anytime. Yep. And I can give them houses that we've built that they can go by, and if some of them, they want to get an
So
appointment.
where are
to,
you,
the
where are
people
you,
are very
where are you
willing.
putting up a house right now?
Right now, we're finishing a house up in Watertown, Massachusetts.
All right, so if they want to take a look at what's going
It's
on.
at 4-6 Sexton Street in Watertown, Massachusetts. We're going to be starting another one over in Coventry. That'll probably be delivered around August 13th, so they can see a house being actually set on August 13th, 15th.
So someone interested, they can get pretty much what they want.
Yes.
As they would in a stick-built house.
Yes.
Type of window, the window placement, fixtures in the bathroom.
Yes.
Whatever type they want, the bathtub, et cetera.
Yep.
And the kitchen cabinets. Kitchen cabinets come with the.
Yes. Yes.
So does that come down the road with the?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
it's not.
And I recommend the appliance, that they get all the appliance at the same time. They get a very good discount on the
And that's all
appliances.
installed at the factory?
It's all, and the appliances, we install them on site, but it's much better than going and shopping around, trying to find the best deal, because you'll get the best deal from us. And that way, we don't have to worry about the individual who's going to deliver it, scraping the floor and everything
And
else.
you're all fit in there
Yes,
and all
yes,
set. Well,
yes.
Paul, I got my signal from the tech guys, and they're telling me that the show is over.
The show is done.
A half hour? I mean, that's incredible.
That's incredible. It was a pleasure.
I always learn something, and I hope out there my audience did learn something. Modular home construction, or any type of construction in regards to modular type, you can look into further if you'd like. But, well, anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.